Mark, we just were speaking to you before we had to break away from the Home Secretary. She was indicating, of course, this deal has been signed with the French to try and stop these things happening. Certainly that's not helped this particular time, but the French have been involved in this rescue and search operation, cross-channel operation, still continuing to see if there's anyone still in the water.
Yeah, I mean, the French will stop vessels coming off their beaches. Tens of thousands they stop in any given year. But we know the way that this people smuggling operation works is that they may puncture a boat and send those migrants scattering and fleeing back into the dunes, but they'll just regroup and try again later that day or the next day. That's the way this people smuggling operation works. And yes, you're right, they are involved in this very extensive air-sea rescue operation that's still ongoing at the moment. It started before 3 a.m. with reports that this vessel had capsized and that people were in the water. A local fishing boat was quickly on scene and helped pull some of those onto that vessel. Border Force sends a number of vessels. The lifeboat sent 3 vessels. There were 2 Coast Guard helicopters and 2 Royal Navy ships, as well as those French assets, all involved in a very detailed search and rescue operation, which continues, as I say, at this hour. Now, we're told that 43 people were pulled from the water. 30 of those, had been in the water. The others had been on what was a partially deflated boat at that time. 3 of those we know have died. 4 of those, I should say, we know have died. It is possible, Mark, as the search and rescue operation continues, that we may see that death toll rise further.
Yeah, of course, the conditions with the cold in terms of the water and indeed just in terms of the air temperature as well, even though the sea is calm. Clearly, as you were saying, 4 others requiring medical attention on another boat with the danger of hypothermic conditions. Are there indications that perhaps more boats are on the way, given this sort of window in the weather?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we had 2 days of bad weather conditions where they just couldn't put these small boats into the water on the French side of the channel. It calmed overnight to the point where they could. And so, of course, true to form, the people smugglers started pushing these boats off, one of them ending, of course, in tragic consequences. But we're told from our sources that at least 6 other small boats have made it across the channel so far today, and Border Force and lifeboats responding to other incidents. You mentioned there the casualties on board the Dover lifeboat. They've just been brought back into Dover Harbour and, as we speak, are being taken off the lifeboat. 5 individuals, we understand, on board that vessel, and it may very well be that they're suffering from the effects of cold hypothermia, because it is very, very cold out mid-channel. And even if they're not in the water, it doesn't take long before the effects of the cold really start gripping an individual. And that may well be what we're seeing, Mark.
And a huge combined operation. I mean, I understand Ashford Hospital further inland in Kent on standby, with the A&E department effectively being cleared as a trauma centre.
That's right. The Coast Guard helicopters, the air ambulance, which was here at Dover Harbour, we understand made some trips to Ashford Hospital. Land ambulances were here as well. Sadly, the black unmarked coroner's van pulled up here as well. There's a couple of makeshift forensic tents that have been set up next to the lifeboat station here. Our colleagues, photographers down there, saw at least one of the bodies that was recovered, a body bag that was winched off the lifeboat and taken ashore. So absolutely tragic. As she was giving her statement to the Commons, Suella Braverman said, "These are the days we dread."
Yeah.
Of course, it's only 13 months just over since we had that tragedy, Mark, with 27 people who drowned in the English Channel. Not on that scale this time, but any loss of life, of course, is tragic. 4 at the moment. It's a possibility it could rise further.